Hello, other people, detractors, haters, subs, whatever, whoever want to be addressed by. We're gonna watch a Phil reacts video on uh, Suicide Squad and the Wonder Woman trailers. Now, I don't think I've seen the Wonder Woman teaser, but I've seen Wonder Woman in a Superman versus Batman movie trailer. So I've seen her. I don't know if that's what Phil is talking about, or if there has been another teaser of her. But, anyways, let's watch this. As you can see, this is such a great thumbnail start. No intro, nothing. Phil looks very sad. He looks like he's depressed about something. So let's find out. Really?
What's up?
That's the screen he picked for the title card? That's a terrible title card. Hold on, I'm gonna look at that piece again. Look at this. What kind of title card is this? He should have done something more different. This just looks like he's very, like, either confused or sad. And that's not the kind of look you want to kind of show it. I don't know, it just looks really weird and silly. And to hold on that for, let's see,
What's up, everyone?
5 seconds
Phil here, and
with a
welcome.
shitty
In this video,
transition.
I'd like to talk a little bit about my thoughts on the upcoming Suicide Squad movie from DC Comics, which is actually releasing this summer and just had its first official trailer released, as well as the Wonder Woman movie coming in 2017, which had some additional
Wonder Woman
kind of
movie.
released to the internet and had some of the people working on the movie talking publicly about it. So I wanted to give you my thoughts about that as well. Now, first off, I just
That was a jump cut. Did you see that? That he edited one thing, but that's still weird. But I don't want to watch the Wonder Woman trailer right now. But I'm just gonna say this: the Wonder Woman movie I've been hearing for years. They've been trying to get this movie off the ground for so long. So part of me is all excited because I like Wonder Woman as a character. I mean, part of it is because I have a bias since I'm Greek, and Wonder Woman is based on Greek mythology, kind of. So I kind of holds hand to hand. So there's a little bias going on. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on who's directing it. If it's Zack Snyder, I'm completely uninterested. But yeah.
I want to make it abundantly clear, I can't show you any of the footage from these trailers. If I do that, I'm obviously going to probably get copyright issues here, but what I will be doing is just using some pictures from these trailers in this video, just to give you a frame of reference, and you can go ahead and watch those specific videos. If you look in the description of this one, I've put 2 links there, one for the Suicide.
Really? You had to put title, text on the screen. So, I mean, this is a nitpick, but does he think his viewers have ADD? I mean, usually if I advertise something about my channel or whatever, I put it in the link below, and I say to the link below, if you go to the link below, thank you, thank you very much. If you don't, that's fine too. That's clap for you guys too. It doesn't matter. I put it in the description. If you guys want to check it out, you put the extra effort. If you don't, you don't. I mean, I'm not expecting you guys to do that. But I don't know. That's just weird that he puts it. This is something he puts in text on a video.
Squad trailer and one for the very brief discussion of the Wonder Woman up-and-coming movie with some video clips, so check it out. So the first movie I want to talk about is Suicide
Another
Squad,
weird cut.
which is the movie about a ragtime group of DC...
I'm sorry, like, people, like, this isn't what people want in editing. They don't want to just cut scene, unless you absolutely have to. But usually, when I do a video, if I do a video that I'm talking, whatever, I try to do it kind of in one take. I try to get what I want to say, and I put it in a video. If I go too long, I reshoot it. I do all kinds of stuff to kind of amend it, because I don't like having a video, then cutting it, then resubmitting or just kind of reconnecting another scene, because that just adds an obvious break, and it just kind of makes the video less entertaining. I know, and Phil isn't the only YouTuber that does this. I know other YouTubers that do it. I personally don't like doing that. I try not to do that in my videos. Uh, so yeah, that's just me, I guess.
Comics villains who were all captured and incarcerated and then sent together on a suicide mission against other villains and or impossible odds, a suicide mission, in order to reduce their sentencing if they actually succeed. Now, we actually saw footage about this movie at last year's Comic-Con, and now we finally got a full trailer which fleshes out a lot more about the movie, and that's what I want to focus on. So this new trailer
Another weird
opens up
cut.
with Queen. Yes, that's right, Bohemian Rhapsody. And I'm a huge fan of Queen. I think they were a great rock band. Their music is very kickin', and it's an awesome soundtrack to use for a trailer. But let me tell you, just taking some of the exact same footage that they used in the original teaser back at E3 2015 and using it in this video with Queen as the soundtrack, I think was genius
Wow.
because the Queen music makes it heavy hitting, makes it fast paced, and actually gives it a rhythm that original teaser really didn't have. And immediately the trailer seems ultimately way better than what we saw about a year ago. So really, the tagline they're using is worst heroes ever because they're really not heroes. They're bad guys who are doing the work of heroes in order to possibly get an
I like how he's describing that. Worst heroes ever. Let me explain that to you. The concept of worst heroes ever. Okay, I don't know. That's
early release. It's a cool premise, and ultimately, I think that's why this kind of worked as a plotline in a comic book. But, you know, immediately as this trailer starts, it already causes confusion because you start to see things that are like graphically serious transfixed against stuff that's supposed to be funny. So, for example, Will Smith is Deadshot in this movie. His character is getting beaten viciously by prison guards. Next thing you know, he's out in the prison yard with the other Suicide Squad members, wondering why they're out there, and he says, "Oh, is this cheerleader tryouts?" And you're immediately shocked with like, dude, like 5 seconds ago in this trailer, you were getting your ass beat, and now all of a sudden it's a big joke to you that you were like brutally beaten. You probably have a couple broken ribs. Har har har. Let's joke about
what? So a serious movie, a comic book movie, has serious stuff going on, and then they have comedic moments. What? A comic book movie that's based on comic books has characters that say funny things from time to time. What? How is this a complaint? Because obviously, because when you're making a movie, I mean, it's kind of. I kind of want to go into this is a little tangent, but I don't agree that The Martian is a comedy. It's a movie about a guy stranded on Mars who's screwed. He has to try to survive, and no one knows if he's ever gonna make it home. Whatever. He then in some scenes there's comedic moments. Does that make it a comedy? I mean, when I watch the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, they had comedic moments. Does that mean those movies are comedies? No, it doesn't. So Suicide Squad is probably an action movie. Since it's a comic book movie, it stands to reason that there will be comedic moments because not all movies have to be serious all the time. That's the one thing I will give to Suicide Squad than over Batman versus Superman is that it at least has humor in it. It's not devoid of humor. At least it has something. I just don't like the style of the movie. I'm not really interested in Suicide Squad or Batman versus Superman, to be honest. Neither of the movie have been doing anything for me. But I mean, at least Suicide Squad is this kind of at least it kind of knows when not to be serious. But this complaint is ridiculous. It's really, it's it's not like in Kill la Kill where there's two scenes. Spoiler alert. Where Ragyo Kiryuin, sorry if I mispronounced her name, kind of sexually molested her daughter, and then like that scene gets followed by a comedic scene. That was a little jarring, but I don't know. It's just kind of not the same thing because one is just something severely serious, and then that here it's just like okay, here's something. He's getting beat up, and then next scene he's saying his cheerleader try. That's not really a big issue. I don't know why I'm making this a big issue, but
it. And plus, it's not
sorry.
even a funny joke. It's just a really out of place line for someone who's supposed to be a contract killer who's out there to just kill for money. Oh, cheerleader tryouts? It's just really silly, and I don't think that is in line really with the character. So
I don't think you read any of the comics because I haven't read the comics either, but I'm willing to bet that Deadshot has some funny lines in the comics. I have a feeling he does. I mean, call me crazy, but I have a hunch that he has that kind of attitude in the movie. Just a hunch. I mean, if Batman could make some snide jokes here and there, so can he. Just saying.
continuing on with the vein of what I said last time about Suicide Squad, I really don't feel that a lot of the characters honestly are matching in line with what the spirit of the character is. One example here, Killer Croc. Now, Killer Croc has had many incarnations over the years in the
What?
Batman franchise of comic books. Sometimes he's just a gangster, sometimes he's a hulking monstrous beast. It all depends on the situation. In the Suicide Squad movie, it looks like he's just going to be kind of a normal gangster who's kind of buff, and they didn't opt for CGI here, but instead went for what it looks like for real life, makeup effects.
If that is makeup effects, then that's really one of the best things about this movie that I'm generally like happy about because I'm so tired of freaking CG. To see a movie finally opt not to do it is so refreshing. That's actually a good mark for this movie. That's why I like Mad Max Fury Road. It's why I like Star Wars Episode 7. That both had a good mix of CG and practical effects. Movies, keep doing practical effects. Don't do computers anymore. The computers can take a break. Just do practical effects. I really like practical effects. I'm sorry, but if that's what Killer Croc is a practical effect, then I gotta clap for that.
I'm not sold. I mean, just take a look at this guy. He looks to me like a guy in a bad leather suit. He doesn't look like the Killer Croc character.
I don't care.
Certainly he's not.
Look, comics are camp. The comics started out as a campy medium, and now they're kind of being taken seriously. They kind of had this maturity, I guess, to it, but they're still comic books. I like comics that have some form of campiness. This doesn't look that bad, to be honest. And I never really liked Killer Croc as a villain. I never really cared for the character. 'Cause I just feel like no matter how you draw him or design Killer Croc, it's never gonna please people because there's multiple different camps of people who how they like Killer Croc, like other characters in comic book stuff and all that. But I just don't really care. I mean, Killer Croc, they could make him just look like a normal person and I wouldn't care. This is actually a decent interpretation of him, but to me, he kind of looks like a snake person. But either way, I don't really care
Intimidating, he just looks
about
silly.
Killer Croc.
Compare this to like the Thing from current Marvel movies of the Fantastic Four that have really just fucking sucked. It's almost the kind of same look, and I'm very turned off by this character because I know Killer Croc to be a big badass, and he can actually be a badass, and I'm not sold that this character who looks so silly could end up being a tough guy. One character
Doesn't look
based
that
off
silly,
of this trailer
though.
that I'm actually more interested in is the Enchantress, who apparently is a woman who's possessed by a witch, and they're
Really?
magical powers. Now, I don't know too
Hot
much about the
Topic
character, and I
chick?
certainly don't know about
Actually, all of them are
powers,
Hot Topic
but
people,
I think
except for
that
Killer
could be pretty
Croc.
cool.
Honestly, Killer Croc is the only character that's not from Hot Topic, it looks like. Maybe Deadshot. But really? This character?
Premise,
Really?
it's a unique character, and just learning that from this trailer
Mm.
actually interests me more in that character. So then we move on to Harley Quinn, who it looks like is going to be one of the focal point characters of the movie and probably one of the main protagonists. And I don't know, I'm just not sold, and it has nothing to do with the actress or anything like that. It has to do with the design of the character that they chose to go with in this movie.
Oh, this is...
This version of Harley seems to almost be a unique version, something very different from the original concept from the Batman animated series where she actually debuted in the 1990s and what has become known as the mainstream Harley Quinn character over the past 20.
Look. I'm gonna say this right now. I do like the animated series Harley Quinn a lot more. I don't like kind of how she looks in recent interpretations because they kind of made her look like a hooker. Basically, I kind of don't like what they've done with her. Uh, because the thing with the animated series design is that it's a timeless design. You can have that in 2050 and it would still look good. Uh, and it's easy. It's an easy costume. Everyone, and you know, some people might say that like, well, it might not translate well in theater. Bullshit. It's such an easy costume. I've seen people dress up like that and they look fine. Uh, I don't see the problem. I mean, you could kind of push the design more, but I've not liked at all any of the designs that I've seen of her, like in the Arkham games. I don't really like her in this movie either. It's just all these look like characters that got pooped out of a Hot Topic. Like they just went to Hot Topic, shop there, and then that's the character. That's the only thing That's what I don't like about Suicide Squad. Is that everything looks like it's from Hot Topic. It looks like something that would be on a Hot Topic shirt. Um, I but you can change the look of the character all you want. I'm not saying that, you know, oh, it has to be the animated series or nothing, but I just want to see more interesting designs of her than just this. This looks so to me. It's a safe design because it still looks like it's evoking from the other stuff, but I don't know.
20 years in DC Comics. It just seems like they wanted to go somewhere completely original and different with it. And that's okay if that character had already maybe been established in film, but being that this is the very first time we're getting a mainstream view of Harley.
Look, none of the movies are connected to each other. Just none of them are. What this argument is garbage arguments because at that point, then like, why is the Heath Ledger Joker different from the Jack Nicholson Joker? If we're gonna go off by that logic, every movie should have the same design, which is ridiculous because every movie's done by different people because they're treating the movie series like they do with the comics, where each comic is a different story, different adaptation, different interpretation of these characters. You get what I'm saying?
Quinn, I would
You
have
know what I'm
liked
saying?
to be more accurate to the original character. For example, where's her accent? She's supposed to have this almost like New York accent.
Where is this accent? She doesn't have a New York accent. I would do an impression of a New York accent, but I'm not going to do that because I do terrible impressions. But she doesn't have a New York accent. I've seen the animated series so many times. Don't tell me she has a New York accent. She doesn't.
And they completely took it out of the character. Instead, she talks kind of normal, like a normal girl. And I was kind of annoyed. Like, that was one of the focal points of the character. The way she talks, Mr. J. You
Are you? She always talks like that. This, the voice. I mean, maybe the tone of the voice is different. It's off. But that's whatever. But the dialogue she has generally is the same dialogue. They Harley Quinn says Mr. J all the time, or Puddin'. Come on.
she has this kind of affectation to her voice that's actually kind of cute and became part of the mainstream character, and they took it out.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
Harley gets a few major lines in the trailer. The one line that really was out of place to me, again, all of the supervillains are standing in this courtyard,
Oh, this would
basically
be
being
good.
told what they're going to do as this new supervillain hero squad, and Harley's like, oh, the voice is in my head. What's that? They're telling me to kill everyone and escape? Oh, I'm just kidding. That's not really what they said. And I'm like, that's so cheesy. Like, it's not scary. It's not funny.
It's not scary. Harley Quinn's not meant to scare you. She's just insane. Like, I will say when I saw that in the trailer, I did see the Suicide Squad trailer. It was the boringest line in the entire trailer. The entire trailer. It was so boring. It got nothing out of me because it's just like, oh, because she hears voices. Oh, what she said that it was joking. What they were saying, like it's a lame joke. That's all it is.
It's almost like, well, you don't understand that I'm crazy, so now I will directly tell you all in plot exposition. And I don't understand, number one, why they thought that dialogue was
Plot
like true to her
exposition.
character, and number two, why that needed to be in the trailer. Like, okay, if you're watching the movie, maybe if you want to explain she's crazy, I didn't need to see that in the trailer. And
This
I think it's one
isn't
of the worst lines
exposition.
possible.
This isn't exposition. It's just a line. It's a throwaway joke. It's not. Oh, this describes the character so well. It's just a throwaway gag that they put in the trailer that you either laugh at or you don't. It's not showing this is what the character's about. It's just saying this. Ah,
We
this.
could have given her in this trailer. I didn't get it. Moving on to characters that I just think look silly. I mean, Deadshot is kind of a cool character in the
That's
DC
a weird
universe,
mask, to
but
be honest.
not in
That
this movie. Like, first of all, Will Smith, is he gonna
everyone likes that mask. that mask looks really weird. It's not bad, but it just looks like it's missing something. And it looks like it's made out of rubber. I don't
Do a
know.
good job with the character. I don't know. He's a well-versed actor, so I certainly don't want to write him out until we see the movie. But the whole helmet and thing that he's wearing, it looks cartoonish. It doesn't look realistic. Do you really think that a merc would wear something like this? And listen, I know it's very similar to the look of the comics, but couldn't they do a little better? Couldn't they not make it look
You know, you think that he's showing all these images from the movies, he would also show images from the comics? Because, you know, wouldn't that also help his argument? Like saying, this is what the movie looks like, this is what the comic, you know, like, show comparisons. If you're gonna show images, at least show comparisons.
like it's a fucking styrofoam head from a mannequin with some silly little laser shit on the eye? Couldn't they at least maybe change the look a little bit so it's something that someone would actually wear? I don't know. I don't like the look of Deadshot. And now, on to the Joker, who I've been very critical of, the Jared Leto version of this character.
Everyone's been critical of
And I'm
him.
going to be honest with everyone. Me growing up in the 1980s and 90s, for
I'm
me,
gonna be
he was
honest.
going to be kind of the quintessential Joker.
He's the
It's either
contrarian
the
over
Joker
here.
from the Batman animated series, voiced by Mark Hamill, or it's going to be the Jack Nicholson Joker from the original 19.
Really, you're gonna limit it to two interpretations? And to be honest, both those interpretations are kind of the same character. Kind of. They kind of have the same kind of idea. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on the Jared Leto Joker. I don't like the Jared Leto Joker. I don't really care for him. He looks ridiculous. I think the design is kind of atrocious, and I think this kind of the reception he got generally, and then the backpedaling the PR department did from DC was coming from their end was ridiculous. Just because, you know, like, yeah, some people might like the design, some people won't. And then they're like, well, the tattoos are just there for a tribute. Okay, it's not the real character. Then they have images with the tattoos on it. Well, it's part of the character. It was just weird. But I don't like the Jared Leto Joker. I really didn't. I mean, I like the movie. I just don't like the style it's going for. Some people can like it. It didn't do anything for me. The style looks kind of high schoolish. It looks like something a high schooler would come up with.
1989 Batman movie. So maybe for me, I've got a bias, but I really feel that those two versions of the Joker.
Oh, by the way, I did have a bias like that when I was a kid. I don't want to make that clear. You know, when I watched the live action Batman movies, like the Tim Burton ones when I was younger, I hated them because Batman didn't look like the one in the animated series. Because I like the white eyes. I didn't like that you could see his pupils and all that stuff. And I didn't like how the costume looked. I didn't like anything because it didn't look like the animated series. So I had a bias for the animated series when I was a kid. But now that I'm older, I realize that real life isn't like cartoons, and uh, I like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies because the Batsuit looked cool and the character looks cool and all this kind of stuff and it all works and blah 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 blah. All this jargon.
Character nailed the character from the comics, and that's really what I think of when I think the Joker. And a lot of people may be surprised to hear this. You know, the Heath Ledger Joker, was he a good character? Absolutely, but I don't think that was true to the character of the Joker. I think that was their own take on the Joker.
Every take of the Joker is their own take of the Joker. The animated series Joker was Bruce Timm's and Paul Dini's take on the Joker. Jack Nicholson's is Tim Burton's take on the Joker. Heath Ledger's Christopher Nolan's take on the Joker. Jared Leto's whoever the director of that movie's take on the Joker. These are all different takes of the Joker. You don't have to accept one Joker. There's multiple takes on the Joker. When you go to the comics, there's multiple versions of him. I didn't like him. I don't like him a lot in the new DC comics because I don't like that he removed his face. I think that I don't like that. But that's that interpretation of the Joker. The Joker has different interpretations within each time, and you can pick and choose which interpretation you like. But overall, they're all going to be different. Phil doesn't get that. He's just assuming that everything has to be in one track, and that's what a lot of old comic book movies fell into in the early thousands, especially with Marvel movies. That's why Marvel movies kind of sucked, is because they tried to emulate the comics. But in time, they were like, you know what, we should just make movies their own little thing and have them be their own little universe, not connected to the comics. They should just be their own thing. And that's why they're a lot different and better now, because that's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm not saying that this is what actually happened, but I feel like that's why it's better. Is because they kind of stopped trying to connect themselves to the comics, and it's like, well, we'll take these comic book ideas and adapt them into movies, and have our own little universe and continuity with them. That's how I feel about it.
I think again that's what they're trying to do here, but I don't get it. So you turn
It's
the
a
Joker
shitty
into this
picture of him.
generic kind of street thug looking dude. You give him a mouthful of metal, so now whenever Jared Leto
Street Thug
talks, he
is
sounds absolutely terrible. He sounds like a mumbled Heath Ledger. He almost sounds like Heath Ledger's Joker
sounds
with
lame,
mumbles
to
in
be
his
honest.
mouth. And I hate it. Every time he says something, he says one line in this trailer, and I'm like, ah. I'm like, when I see this movie, every time he speaks, I'm going to be so cringing at everything he says because he sounds like shit. Of course, we all
Everything in this
have
movie
these
sounds like
tattoos
shit.
all over his chest
It's
that look
the
absolutely.
director's trying really hard to be different with it or something. I don't know. It's just this movie is trying way too hard, and it's like you don't need to try too hard. You're a comic book movie. The closest thing to a Suicide Squad animated movie that I liked was Batman Assault in Arkham. That was actually a really good movie with him, and I think that was good. That was a good interpretation of that. I think that was I just like that more because that was actually fun to watch. This not so much.
Ridiculous. And he just looks stupid. Like I don't get it.
He just
Okay,
looks
we want
stupid.
a new wave Joker, a new age
That's
Joker
that's
for
a
the modern era.
that's a good criticism. He looks stupid. A 30-something-year-old man describes a character with dialogue of a child. That looks stupid. Sorry if you heard that click. That
The
was
Joker's now been in 3 major Batman franchises. Okay, but sorry if you have a tried and true character that people have already fallen in love with and that's what they want, and you deliver your own artistic interpretation of what the Joker is and people don't get it. I mean, that's your fault because people know.
look. People kind of criticize him this, I guess, for this, but I do kind of agree when you think about it. If you're designing a character and he's unrecognizable and no one can connect him to the Joker or in some way, shape, or form, then you did kind of fail in the design. But when I saw Jared Leto's Joker, I did see the Joker. It's just it wasn't a version I liked. It wasn't a style I liked. It's like I don't know. It's just just because there's a existing interpretation before this movie came out doesn't mean that this movie has to follow along with that interpretation. Just because the Arkham games were the latest thing doesn't mean that Joker has to be in this movie. Each thing is different, and that's what this is going for. This looks like the Joker. He has the green hair. He has the pale skin. He has the laughter. It's all this stuff. I mean, I might not like this Joker. I don't like him at all, but I see the Joker there. It's just I don't like it.
Who the Joker is. We know he's been established in previous lines. We don't need to see the reimagined Joker for 2016. And I still don't get this character. I'm hoping Jared.
I mean, like he's acting as if now that Suicide Squad's coming out, every comic has to have this Joker in it, and that's not true. I mean, this one might inspire comics to design Jokers like him, maybe, but that doesn't mean that all comics are gonna look like that. If that's the case, then every Batman should look like the one in the Christopher Nolan Batmans, and Joker should look like that, and all this kind of stuff. That never happened. So this is a weird point to bring
Leto
up.
can prove me wrong in the movie, but right now, from everything I'm seeing, especially in this new trailer, I'm certainly not sold, and I'm pretty upset that the character is turning out the way that he is. So in general,
Oh, and everyone, by the way, I'm tired of hearing this. You can't judge a movie by watching the trailer. That's true if he was writing a review. I do agree with that. If he's writing a review, that's fine. You can't review a movie just by watching the trailer, but you can tell if you want to watch a movie or not by the trailer, because the whole point of a trailer is to give you a first impression. If the trailer fails at that first impression, or if you don't like what you saw in that trailer, there's no way you're gonna see the movie. Like when I saw Batman vs Superman, those trailers, each trailer looks less and less exciting, and I got turned off by that. So instantly, I'm not interested in that movie. Neither am I in Suicide Squad. None of the trailers are kind of amazing me or giving me reasons to see this movie. So yeah, that's the whole point of a trailer is to give you that first impression. And you know, if you're excited for these movies, good for you. You had a good impression. I didn't. That's as far as the trailer's supposed to go. I'm not gonna say, well, I give the movie a 5 out of 10 based on what I've seen in trailers. That's ridiculous. But you can say that the movie looks like shit by the trailers because you're just saying that you're just describing the impression you got from it. That's all. I hope you guys understood what I was saying there.
The Suicide Squad trailer, in my opinion, is a lot better than the footage we got from Comic-Con last year. In fact, there's a lot of stuff
It feels
in
the
this trailer
same,
that
to
makes
be
it look like it
honest.
could be a really positive movie.
Like, here's my thing. When I saw the trailer, I got the same kind of impression out of it as I did when it was first announced and when the first trailer showed. I just didn't care, and nothing in the movie in these trailers have been making me want to jump to see it. It looks so Hot Topic. Like, it looks like it's from Hot Topic. Like, it just has this try hard attitude. It's like, I'm just waiting for a line to come out from the movie where it's like, you don't, Batman, this isn't a phase or something, it's kind of the same shit that people kind of give, the kind of stuff that they're giving Kylo Ren from Star Wars Episode 7. It's kind of that kind of shit, but it's not exactly the same, but it just looks like it's from Hot Topic, and I just don't like movies that look like that there are shirts from Hot Topic. There's a Tumblr post I saw that sums up this movie very well. I don't know if I'll ever find it again, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking
Visual
about with
effects,
that.
great action sequences, and the music, like I said, the Queen music, even though it's just a simple addition from the original footage.
The Queen
we saw
music
a year
seems
ago,
like it was a
really does
response
make it
to Guardians of the Galaxy. That's all it sounds like. That's all I was getting from that. I was like, oh, this is like trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
pop and move and gives it kind of its own groove. But I'm confused now as what Suicide Squad is, because last year when we saw that
What?
original footage from Comic-Con, it looked like it was going to be a dark and gritty.
How are you confused? And the other movie, the other trailer that they showed, everything that they showed about it didn't look dark and gritty. It looked it looked fucking stupid to me because it looks, as I said, you get what I'm saying. But it still looked goofy to me. There's still hints of humor in all these things that came out of it.
Interpretation of these characters. That's how they were selling it in that footage. Now all of a sudden they're adding cheesy lines. Oh, what is this?
Dude, 14 minutes and 10 minutes he's been talking about Suicide Squad, so he's gonna talk for
It's like,
4 minutes about Wonder Woman.
Is it going to be a dark comedy? Is it going to be an action movie? Is it going to be a combination?
It's a
And
comic
quite
book
honestly, from
movie,
this trailer,
dude.
it's a hard sell. I don't know what it is yet. And that's what it is. This trailer ultimately for me becomes a garbled mess because you've introduced all
garbled
these characters
mess.
for the first time in film form, but they're not true to their DC Comics characters, so now I'm confused of what.
None of these characters are true to their DC Comics form. Does Phil know that how many times the comics reboot the characters? So many times. So many times they reboot the characters and stories and designs and all this shit. They do that constantly. There's a Batman Flashpoint comic where Batman uses a gun. And Batman never uses guns. And there's a Frank Miller comic where Batman uses a gun. He even has a tank. Like, God. Oh, this is ridiculous.
They're gonna be. What's everything really in this movie? What's the plot? We know Batman's in it because we saw some like leaked footage last year.
What's the plot?
What's his role gonna be? And ultimately, I think we're all gonna be walking into Suicide Squad saying we're not sure what this movie is. Let's just give it a shot and hope for the best. Because right now, from what I've seen, I'm not sold.
But you just described what the movie was about. It's about these group of villains who are brought in to be on a squad that is going to take on missions uh, that would be suicidal otherwise, and then they would do these missions, and they would get their sentence reduced. That's all you need to know about this movie. You don't need to know every little thing about the plot because it's a trailer. They're not going to give you critical plot points. They give you enough to understand what they're doing, and all the trailers are showing is that these groups of people are doing missions for this shadow government organization, whatever, and they're being, I guess, coerced to do it. It's really not that hard to follow. It's not that confusing. It's not complicated. A 5-year-old could figure this out.
any way, shape, or form. So now let's talk a little bit about the upcoming Wonder Woman movie in 2017. Now this is interesting.
Oh, and by the way, side note, I like how he's saying how Suicide Squad's cheesy, and he's using all these cheesy transitions. Just want to point that out.
Because we all know that Wonder Woman is going to make a special appearance in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie later this year. We don't know the extent of her character's role in
I
the
do
movie.
kind of like the actress they picked. I kind of wish they kind of told her to work out for the role, like just do some muscle stuff. Like she looks a little too scrawny. Like, not to sound like Phil, but when I saw like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, they kind of drew her arms a little bit thicker than like a normal woman's arms because they implied muscle. It's not the best drawing of it, I guess, but she's an Amazon, so she should have some muscles. I mean, she doesn't have to be roided out or anything, but that's the only thing. That's the only thing. It's tiny, teeny tiny, but I just don't think she needs to be this scrawny girl that's an Amazon. I just don't feel it. When you see Greek Amazons or Greek warriors or whatever, they have muscle. She should have muscle.
But it's cool that Wonder Woman
But
is
whatever.
finally going to make it to the big screen after having multiple iterations of Batman and Superman shoved down our throats. It's cool to finally see a strong female protagonist get her shot. Now, from the footage that was released and what the makers of the movie are saying, this is going to be an origin story about Wonder Woman, who is a Greek goddess. She's on the island of Themyscira with all these other Amazonian warriors, and their job was to protect humanity, but for whatever reason, they've decided to abandon humanity because
What? I mean, I don't know. See, I didn't see the teaser or anything or know anything about this Wonder Woman movie, but if that's the premise, then then that's an interesting take. But if they're going off of like what's known, they live on an island. They're all about feminism, basically. They don't want it to interfere with man's world because they think men are kind of trivial and whatever, so they stay on their little island that's protected by the gods. That's kind of the origin story that I know of, at least from the animated series of Justice League. But I mean, if they're going to go with a new origin story, I guess that's cool. But if Phil is lying because he's very misinformed, then that's not story that is in that Wonder Woman originated from. But again, it could be a different take, I
they don't
guess.
feel that it's worth it. Well, Wonder Woman decides to go against everything that she's told by her elders and go out to the human world for herself to see really what's going on.
The
And
human world. It's man's world, son.
It's an interesting premise. It's a cool origin story because unlike the ones of Superman and Batman, we haven't heard it 400 times, and it could be interesting to see this in movie form.
Yeah, I do agree with
In all
that.
honesty, looking at what they showed in this kind of teaser footage, it looks like they're getting the character right, at least with the lore of Wonder Woman, and also the hand-to-hand combat looks really good. She's got, swinging the shield, she's doing these crazy kicks. It certainly doesn't look like she's doing anything out of the ordinary that you would expect from Wonder Woman, and that's a good thing in my opinion. But I've got to ask, it begs the question, was this actress the right pick for the job? And all I have to do is show you a few stills from this trailer/teaser footage. Take a look. Like, this Wonder Woman looks like she's confused, she's out of place. She almost, in a lot of places, looks like...
Of course she looks confused. She just never left the island. Are you joking? Every other interpretation of Wonder Woman got that right, to be honest. Like, when you look at Justice League, when in the first episode of that animated series, when she first entered man's world, she was confused. She was like, man, man's world's so weird and different. I think I'm gonna stick around. And then, whatever, and so on. She calls a mall a place of worship. She is confused that she's never left the island. It's a key thing about that character.
like a cute girl dressing up.
For a person who claims to be a DC Comics fan, he sure doesn't understand that a person who's never... It's like, if I was in a room for my entire life, then I said, I'm going to go out of this room, I'd be so confused. Go watch the movie, the Oscar-nominated movie, The Room, or Room, whatever it's called. That kind of has the same kind of premise, where these people were locked in a shed for the most of their lives, and they get out, and they're like, whoa. I'm sorry I spoiled that movie, but it's still kind of worth seeing. But that's
for Halloween rather than a strong Amazonian
Yeah,
warrior.
see, okay, see, I don't know if it shows my mouse, but look, look how scrawny she looks. She should have some muscle. I mean, she doesn't have to be roided out, as I said, but she should have some muscle mass. I really kind of wish the director told her, hey, you should work out for this scene. You know, you don't need to do anything crazy. Just build some muscle so you look muscular. You don't have to have, like, thick arms or something, but...
You know, the Wonder Woman that I'm used to is from the Justice League cartoons from the 1990s.
The first time he pulls up a comparison shot for the first time is for Wonder Woman. Thank you, Phil. But see, but even then, like, as I said, she does have kind of thicker arms, but they still look petite, regardless. I mean, whatever. But she still kind of looks tough. But at the same time, she kind of grew into Man's World. In the origin story, she should look confused. She should look lost because she's never left the island.
She's supposed to be this really large, imposing woman. Now, she doesn't necessarily have to look like a dude, but she at least has to look like she could hold herself up in a fight and kind of be like, you know, this big and dominating presence when she's standing up to other people. I'm sorry, but this actress that they chose for the role of Wonder Woman doesn't do that to me. She looks like a model that they played dress up with. And again,
I mean, I do think she's still
always seems to me
scrawny.
like it's more miscasting. Like, what were you thinking? There weren't enough.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think it's a total miscast for her, because at least she kind of has the facial features to be Wonder Woman, because, like, she has the brown hair, she has the brown eyes, all that stuff. Even though the anime series gave her blue eyes, but whatever. Greeks have brown eyes. Surprise, surprise. But she should have at least some muscle mass. Just saying, she should have some muscle. I do kind of agree with Phil, is that I do think it's a little ridiculous that she's kind of scrawny in comparison with what she should be. Because, we're kind of moving... Not to sound like a PC Tumblr person here, but... Excuse me, we are moving forward with female characters. We could have at least give her some muscle. Some muscle. Give her something.
Women on planet Earth to find a woman who could look kind of tough.
I mean, you don't have to find another actress that has a muscle, because I don't think that you're gonna find whatever. But but they could tell her, hey, go to the gym, work out for this role, because a lot of actors do that kind of stuff for their roles. Like Jesse Plemons gained weight for a role he was doing for some movie. I don't know what movie it is, but he gained weight for it. Same with Christian Bale for when he was in American Hustle. He gained weight for that role. She could go to the gym and work out for the role of Wonder Woman. It's not that... It's kind of hard, but it's, you should just have her do that.
Almost like a string bean supermodel to put on a Halloween outfit, and that's supposed to be our Wonder Woman.
So whatever, I don't think it's that big of a deal, though. I mean, here's the thing. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad that the Wonder Woman we got. I'm not saying that, it's not like the comics or whatever, but it's a tiny little detail that could work, but it doesn't break the character to me. It doesn't break the movie, it doesn't break anything. It's really how the movie's portrayed and how the movie is that I care about. I mean, at least she looks kind of that part. I mean, at least the costume is right, and at least the kind of how the actress looks is right, except for the muscle stuff, as I said multiple times.
Last year, my opinions on Wonder Woman are much the same. I think the movie could be good. The action sequences look like they're dead on, and at least in this case, we're getting an origin story that's original and different from the people we've heard their stories retold a million times. But I don't think the casting is good at all. This actress, to me, just does not seem to fit the role. She looks confused and out of place. I'm curious to see how she fits in with Batman vs. Superman later this year.
The island.
And I guess maybe once we get a taste of that on screen, maybe we'll know a little bit more about the Wonder Woman movie coming up in 2017. Alright, so those are my thoughts.
They're doing a
on
Wonder
the
Woman movie
Suicide
after the
Squad and
Batman
Wonder
vs
Woman
Superman
movies.
movie?
What are yours? Do you agree with me? Do you
Wow.
disagree? Let me know in the
Wow.
comments of this video what you think
What the
about the
fuck,
DC
dude,
Comics stuff that's
DC?
coming up. Now, I know I didn't talk about Batman vs Superman, but if we get any new kind of news about that movie, I will be probably talking about that too. And
There was a new
FYI, yes, I
trailer,
am planning on seeing
Phil.
Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman, and Wonder Woman when they do hit theaters, so I should definitely have some more insight later on this year when I start to see some of these movies. That's it, everyone. Thanks for watching this vlog. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you later.
Okay, let's look at the comments. Love the vid. This is bad. I don't like that. Phil, it's cool that you are honest and all, but maybe next time point out that some of the positives. Okay, that's nothing. Okay, there's really nothing remarkable about this. But notice how he's doing all these things that he criticized other YouTubers for doing. But whatever. Now I was gonna do a movie stream Friday of Batman and Bad Blood, but after seeing that movie, I don't want to watch that movie again. It's not good. I'm gonna find another movie to stream on Friday. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link to my stream channel below. And I'll find another movie to stream. So until then, enjoy your week. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put all the links of my Twitter, my main YouTube channel where I upload all kinds of videos, and my streaming channel in the description below. So feel free to check those out. Again, I'll be doing a movie stream Friday if you want to see it. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again.